Hey guys, it's back with JohnyTechReview. I hope you guys are having a good week so far. Me and the wife have been using the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus for the past 2 to 3 weeks. She is moving away from a 6 Plus to a 7 while I'm moving away from a 5S to a 7 Plus. For me, it's a much bigger jump than her. Well, both the iPhone was the upgrade. Let's talk about our experience of using these new phones. Oh, by the way, this video is shot entirely on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus camera. Well, I'm personally a huge fan of the 5S design, and I found the newer curve on the phones are a little bit slippery, but buying the 5SE seemed to be a waste of money and a stubborn move for me, so I went big and just went ahead with the 7 Plus. Having used both the 6 Plus and the 6S before, the 7 is nothing really new to me as far as the design. I do like the new camera bump better than the old one, and gone are the old ugly antenna lines. They are pretty much now blend within the back of the phone. I bought both Matte Black edition because this is what the one that we really like, and you can barely notice the antenna on these. If you like the last year iPhone design, then this is definitely going to be a little bit better for you. The iPhone is super slippery, especially in the 7 Plus design. I usually use my old phone, the 5S naked, but man, after about 2 days of using the 7 Plus and with the kids around, I decided to go ahead and get a case for it. Side notes, I will be having various different iPhone case review out later, so subscribe to see more of that when they come out. One of the big reasons for me to upgrade was of course the camera. I take a lot of pictures in general, and having a quick responsive camera is just important. So here are some examples. I want to show you the side by side comparison between the 7, the 7 Plus, and my Sony RX100, which is my go-to point and shoot for everything. From my wife's 6 Plus jump to her 7, the jump was noticeable for her as far as the camera, but for me it was really wiring coming from the 5S to the 7, and the picture quality was a huge difference. Picture from the both rear shooter and also the front facing camera look much better. The front camera this time is 7 megapixel and is upgraded from the 5 megapixel before, and it used the screen for flashes, which actually worked out pretty well. Check out this shot that I took in pitch dark in my room. More specifically, the 7 Plus dual camera allow for some interesting zooming option. Keep in mind that the second telephoto lens is 2.8 instead of f1.8, which means it will capture less light, so indoor you will notice that the iPhone will boost the ISO to compensate for this, which will result in some noise. My favorite workhorse of course is the RX100 MK2, and here are some comparison. You can kind of see the difference in low light. As you can see, in good lighting, the iPhone produces some really stunning shots, but in less optimal lighting, the iPhone gets crushed by the RX100. Of course, this is no surprise as the iPhone sensor is much smaller than the RX100, and of course it's still a camera phone. 4K video with image stabilization was very usable. For quick shooting, I found that the stock app does the job very well, but if I want manual control, I use something like Filmmaker Pro, where I have control over shutter, ISO, and white balance. Both model I bought was 128 gigs, which give me plenty of space to shoot 4K as needed. My 16 gigs 5S was such a pain to deal with the constant management of space, and I'm glad to have a huge jump in storage. Now, headphones. My case may be different from yours, but honestly over the past 2 years or so, I barely use headphones on my iPhone anymore, and when I do, it's usually a pair of wireless earbuds. It doesn't matter if you believe removing the headphone jack is a money grab or courage. If you're buying this iPhone, knows that you will either need to go wireless or use a dongle. For me personally, this was not an issue. The one thing about this dongle though, the cable is super skinny and flimsy. It's like Apple want you to buy another one in 3 months or so. Using this with my Sennheiser HD650, it drives it fine, but the adapter is pretty flimsy, so I'm worried that I will break this very soon. Another feature that I love, the new home button. I really freaking love this button. At first, the whole ordeal of having the whole bottom of your phone vibrating seemed to be weird, but after 2 to 3 days, I got used to it, and now I cannot deal with my iPad mini for a real physical button. It drives me insane. As a fan of capacitive button for a long time, this was the right move for me. One thing I did notice that the clicky vibration seemed to be a lot better on the 7 Plus versus the 7. Could it be the bigger body had this effect? Let me know what you guys think. Battery-wise, Apple claimed that the headphones should have longer runtime, between 1 to 2 hours longer depending on the models. In our experience, my wife is a much heavy user, and going from a 6 Plus to a 7, she did notice that the runtime is a little bit shorter. For me, the 7 Plus bigger battery really helped carry me through the day with moderate use, and well, my aging 5S would die about 3 p.m. Another really big feature is Apple talk about is of course the waterproof. Well, now you can dip your phone in 3 feet of water for about 30 minutes. There are plenty of videos out there that demo this, and I'm not really interested in destroying my phone. earphones. However, it adds a pretty nice layer of protection. Keep in mind that the screen still does not work and the fingerprint sensor does not work if your hand is wet. Come on Apple, solve this problem. I always have wet fingers. Last thing to touch on is the speed, and this new phone is not disappointed. On my older phone running iOS 10, clicking and waiting about half a second to a second for a website to load or an app to load is typical, and now that's pretty much instant. I love the new speed boost, and I hope iOS continue to do updates to keep this phone snappy. One thing I did notice, the whole noise gate. My iPhone 7 Plus, when I run benchmark, I did hear that humming noise, but it comes and goes and you have to put your ear on the back of the phone. Not a really big deal, but definitely is there. I don't know what Apple will do, but right now I'm just waiting to see what's going on. So guys, that is pretty much my review and a feeling over the new flagship phone from Apple. This phone to many people may seem to be a natural upgrade iteration, but left many disappointed as they were expecting a new leap in design somehow. What do you guys think? Are you guys interested in an upgrade? Let me know in the comment box below, and as always, stay tuned and subscribe for more future videos. Thank you.